So our fleece has been sitting in its soapy water. The water's still quite hot, but it's been in there long enough. 5-10 minutes. Could go longer, but I like to preserve as much lanolin as I can, so I don't want to over clean it. Alright, so as you see, it's quite a bit whiter than when it was when it went in. Still not white. And then here's the water is quite gross. So this, if you have time and you let this cool, the lanolin and stuff in the water is really good for your roses and keeping aphids away. I need the bucket, so I'm probably not going to do that. So now we're going to rinse. We're going to put this in its rinse phase. Again, the water should be as hot as you can stand. And then you see quite a bit of more dirt coming out of the fleece. Don't agitate because you don't want felt. So I just turn it a couple times and then poke it down to soak. And then once this has rinsed, I can lay it out on the diving board to dry. The only limitations on how much wool you can scour, besides how much pickling your hands can take, is how many buckets you have and how much room you have to lay the wool out. Because the wool does need to lay out in the sun or in a warm, dry place for a couple of days to dry. So you can't scour too much at once, so you run out of spaces to keep it. So we have this bucket here that's rinsing. This one that we've already rinsed, which I'm going to scoot down the diving board to make room for the next one. And then over here, I have some wool that I scoured a few days ago. So this was the last one. It's still pretty damp, and it was extremely dirty. As you see, it's still quite dirty. That one was not skirted very well. But this one's very damp. And then we have this one here, which is actually, it's two batches, I just combined it. Also pretty dirty, but not as damp. It's got some dampness in it. It needs to sit out. I wouldn't normally put so much fleece in one towel, but I kind of needed the room. And then this one here is at its almost finished stage. I just wanted it to dry just a little bit more. This is brown fleece, and it's dry. So as you see, this one was not sheared in one piece like a fleece that's being prepared for spinning. This sheep was sheared for his comfort, and then the wool was claimed by a friend of mine and given to me. So it's not your typical fleece. I'm not sure how much usable wool I'll get out of this sponge ultimately. But this one here is finished. So when they're done, I like to wrap them up in a sheet to keep them safe from moths. And they store pretty well that way. And I just fold them up, roll them up, and then they can wait until it's their turn to be carded and spun. Over here, so I'll put this one here. And here I have some fleece that I've been working, or some wool that I've been working with, been spinning. so I'm kind of slowly wheeling it away. This fleece also had some moth damage, but I was able to salvage a good part of it, and now I've been spinning it, and this much still needs to be carded and spun. Okay, and the same with this one here. This one. Now this, although you can't tell, this is an example of, no, this is not, never mind. This is, came up pretty clean. This one didn't have a lot of moth damage. It's kind of nice wool, not a lot of kink, but long, as you see, long fibers, which is desirable in spinning. It's got good color. You can see some of the kink in the wool there. This will spin up quite nicely into a beautiful yarn. There's some really good kink right there. Anyway, so I'm going to combine these two, because they are from the same sheep. Put them all together, so I have another sheet to wrap up another fleece. Normally I'd spread it out, but today I'm just going to wrap it up. Alright, so there it is. This is the wool I am currently working with. So it is next in line. And now I have a sheet that I can use when this fleece is finished.